Have you ever, like, just looked at a patch of algae and thought, wow, there's got to be more to this?
Yeah, definitely.
That's what we're diving into today, the world of algae, but, like, way beyond just the surface level.
It's interesting how algae, well, it's not even really a single thing, right? It's more of a catch-all term.
Oh, you're right. So we're talking about a whole bunch of different organisms.
Exactly. We're talking about a huge variety of photosynthetic organisms, and they're everywhere. From those tiny diatoms, the ones with those crazy glass
Oh,
shells,
yeah. Those are so cool under a microscope.
right, all the way to giant kelp forests swaying in the ocean currents. Algae impact, well, pretty much everything, from the ecosystems they're a part of to industries you wouldn't even think of.
So it's like a whole hidden universe within something that most people just see as, well, green stuff.
Yes.
And I've heard that classifying this green stuff can get a little complicated.
Yeah, you could say that. Think of it like, trying to organize a library. But instead of using titles or authors, you're only allowed to use the color of the cover.
Okay, that already sounds like a recipe for disaster.
Right. But it gets even trickier with algae because their appearance can change depending on their environment or what stage of life they're in.
So it's like the books are changing color on you.
Exactly. It's like a constantly shifting puzzle. For a long time, scientists relied on physical characteristics to classify algae, but that got pretty messy pretty quickly.
Makes sense. So how do you even begin to make sense of it all?
Well, DNA analysis has been a game changer. By looking at their genetic code, we can get a much clearer picture of how different algae are related.
So we're finally getting a handle on those shifting books, huh?
Sort of. But there's still a lot of debate about where exactly algae fit within the bigger picture of life. Like, take the four eukaryotic kingdoms: Protista, Plantae, Chromesta, and Protozoa. Where exactly do algae belong? Still an open question.
Wow, so something that most people wouldn't think twice about is actually at the center of a pretty intense scientific debate.
Definitely.
But beyond the classification chaos, what makes algae so important? Why should we care about these, what did you call them, microscopic wonders?
Well, for one thing, their impact on the global economy is massive. The algae biomass sector, which basically means using algae for all sorts of applications, is a multi-billion-dollar industry, even just in Europe.
Billions. Now we're talking. So we're
Yeah.
not just talking about, like, seaweed salad and spirulina smoothies anymore.
Definitely not. We're talking about food, animal feed, medicines, cosmetics, the list goes on and on.
Okay, color me intrigued. What are some of the more unexpected ways that algae are being used these days?
You might be surprised to learn that some types of algae are being used to clean up pollution. It's called bioremediation.
No way. So they're like little environmental superheroes.
Exactly. And some researchers are looking into using algae as a source of biofuel, which could be a big deal in the fight against climate change.
See, this is what I love about these deep dives. You never know what you're going to uncover.
Right.
Speaking of uncovering things, I stumbled across a really interesting historical tidbit about algae. Did you know there might be a link between, get this, a lack of seaweed and the fall of the Roman Empire?
Oh, yeah. That's a fascinating theory. It has to do with lead poisoning, right?
Yeah. It sounds kind of crazy at first, but there's actually some science behind it.
Yeah, a lot of historians believe that lead poisoning, often from lead pipes and cookware, was a big problem in ancient Rome. And guess what? Seaweed is really good at binding to heavy metals like lead.
So you're saying that if the Romans had just eaten more seaweed, history might have turned out differently.
It's a possibility.
Wow. That's wild.
Yeah.
It really shows how connected we are to the natural world, even in ways we don't always realize. But, and maybe this is a weird jump, but if some algae are so good at, like, soaking up toxins, are there also, like, toxic algae?
That's right, yeah. There are some algae that can actually be, well, toxic is a strong word, I guess, but they can cause problems.
So not all algae are out there saving the day, huh?
Some of them, well, they're just trying to survive, like everything else. And part of that survival strategy for some algae involves producing toxins. It's like a defense mechanism.
Okay, so like a chemical shield to keep predators away.
Exactly. But when those algae populations explode, which can happen for a bunch of reasons, it can lead to what's called a harmful algal bloom, or HAB for short, and those can be bad news.
AJs, yeah, those don't sound good.
They can be pretty serious. Some HABs release toxins into the water, and those toxins can harm, well, pretty much anything: fish, other marine life, even people.
Seriously, people too.
Yeah, It's not super common, but it can happen. Like if you eat seafood that's been contaminated with those toxins, or even sometimes just from swimming in water with a really bad bloom.
That's kind of scary, honestly. So it's
Yeah.
like a reminder that nature has a way of like keeping things balanced.
Exactly. Algae are incredibly important, but it's important to understand the risks too and to know what to look out for. That's why identifying different algae species is so important.
Right. So we know what we're dealing with. Okay. So we've talked about the economic impact, the historical side of things, and even the potential dangers of algae. But what about the big picture? How do algae fit into the overall health of the planet?
Oh, they're essential. Absolutely essential. Remember how we were talking about photosynthesis earlier?
Yeah, that algae are like little photosynthesis machines.
Right. Well, they're actually some of the most efficient photosynthesizers on the planet, even more efficient than plants on land.
No way. Seriously?
Seriously. And you know what that means, right? Oxygen. Algae are responsible for producing something like half of the oxygen we breathe.
Wait, half? Are you serious?
Yep, it's true.
That's mind-blowing. So all this time, we've been walking around breathing oxygen, and it's all thanks to, like, pond scum.
Well, maybe not just pond scum, but yeah. It's incredible when you think about it. And the oxygen production, that's not even all. Remember we were talking about carbon capture earlier?
Right, how some algae are like little carbon-sucking vacuums?
Exactly. They're incredibly good at absorbing carbon dioxide from the atmosphere. Some species can even absorb it faster than trees.
No way.
Yeah.
So they're not just helping us breathe, they're helping to fight climate change, too.
That's right.
Incredible. I bet there's a ton of research going on right now into how we can use algae to, like, solve all sorts of problems.
Oh, absolutely. For instance, some researchers are looking into using algae to clean up pollution, something called bioremediation.
So on top of everything else, they could be like little pollution fighters.
Exactly. They're pretty amazing.
Algae, they're not just for ponds anymore. So algae,
Yeah.
they're oxygen factories, carbon capturers, potential pollution fighters.
Honestly, what can't they do? It really is mind-blowing. Like, you might walk past a pond or something and just see some green stuff, but there's a whole universe going on in there.
Totally. It just goes to show the more you learn about the natural world, the more
Yeah.
you realize how much there still is to learn. It's
Yeah.
amazing.
It really is. So, as we kind of wrap up our deep dive into this hidden world, what would you say is the most important thing for our listeners to take away from all this? What's like the one thing you hope they remember about algae?
That's a good question. I guess I would say the next time you see algae, anywhere.
Like at the beach or in a lake or even
Yeah.
just that little bit of green on a rock in your garden? Exactly. Instead of just seeing it as, algae.
Or worse, pond scum.
Ha, right. Take a moment to really think about what you're looking at. Those organisms represent billions of years of evolution. They've survived, ice ages, meteor strikes, who knows what else?
They're like little survivors.
Totally. And now, just think, they might hold the key to some of the biggest challenges we're facing.
Sustainable living, fighting climate change, cleaning up our messes.
It's pretty inspiring when you think about it that way.
It really is. Well, thank you so much for joining us on this journey into the world of algae. I have to say, I learned a ton.
My pleasure. It's always great to talk about things I'm passionate about.
And to everyone listening, remember, keep exploring, keep learning, and never underestimate the power of a little bit of algae. We'll see you next time for another deep dive.